Good morning, children. Children, we have started our lesson number 11, human body and organ system. Right? Do you remember? Okay. And in a previous lecture, we have studied about the circulatory system. So what is it? The circulatory system is responsible for transporting materials throughout the entire body. It transports nutrients, water and oxygen to your billions of body cells and carry away waste such as carbon dioxide that the body cell produce. Understood? And we have also learned about the blood vessels. As the blood moves through the circulatory system, it moves through three types of blood vessels. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Capillaries link arterioles to the veins, and veins carry the blood towards the heart. So children, in today's video, we shall learn about the blood and its different components. So let's begin. Blood is the fluid connective tissue that performs several important functions. It transports oxygen from the lungs to the body cells and brings the waste carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs. It transports the nutrients and hormones, regulates body temperature. Blood prevents the body from infections, and clotting of blood prevents excessive blood loss. Now, blood is composed of approximately 55% of plasma and 45% formed elements. Now, these formed elements in the blood includes the cells and cells fragments such as red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. Okay, so as you can see in the picture, the white blood cells, red blood cells and platelets. Now let us study about the blood plasma. The largest component of blood is plasma, a yellowish liquid that is 90% water. Plasma carries suspended blood cells and other substances. Nutrients that passes from the digestive system into the body are transported into the blood plasma. These nutrients include glucose, amino acids, vitamins, minerals and fatty acids. The kidneys process the blood by filtering waste products like urea, uric acid, etc. out of the blood plasma into the urinary system. Okay? Now, plasma also transports electrolytes, components of immune system, enzymes and hormones, and it maintains the hemostasis by releasing heat. Now children, let us study about red blood cells, that is RBCs. So red blood cells are also called erythrocytes, makes up to 40 to 50% of blood volume and functions to transport oxygen from the lungs to the cells of the body. Now these red blood cells are produced inside the bones of our skeletal system, particularly in vertebra, sternum, ribs, pectoral and pelvic girdle. Inside the red bone marrow of a spongy bone stem cell known as hemocytoblast give rise to different types of blood cells including RBCs. During the development process, the hemocytoblast ejects its nucleus, allowing the cell to carry more oxygen to the tissues. Mature red blood cells enter the blood streams via large capillaries. In humans, matured red blood cells are flexible and oval biconcave shaped. They lack nucleus and most of the cell organelles. Red blood cells, they do not have nucleus. They more room for hemoglobin. And the red blood cells in females are 4 to 5 millions per cubic millimeter and in males 5 to 6 millions per cubic millimeter. The blood streams delivers oxygen to cells and removes carbon dioxide by a process called internal respiration. In the lungs, oxygen is absorbed into the erythrocytes in the blood streams. These cells, commonly called as are red blood cells containing gas transporting molecules called hemoglobin. Oxygen binds to these molecules, then this oxygenated blood moves from them. At the narrow capillaries within the body tissues, red blood cells release oxygen, which then diffuse to the capillary walls into the tissue. Meanwhile, the waste product, carbon dioxide, diffuses into the bloodstream, where it is carried inside the red blood cells in plasma. The deoxygenated blood travels back to the lungs, where carbon dioxide is expelled from the body. Now let us study white blood cells. Now white blood cells are also called leukocytes, and these white blood cells are the cells of the immune system that are involved in the protection of body against infectious diseases. All white blood cells contains nuclei and are derived from the hematopoiesis stem cells in the bone marrow. WBC is divided into 5 main types. WBCs or leukocytes are the components of blood that defends the body against diseases. Neutrophil, it consumes bacteria through phagocytosis. Lymphocytes, it produces the antibodies. Eosinophil, it destroys the parasites and combats with histamine. Basophil, it is responsible to control the allergic reactions. Monocytes, it removes the debris after the infection. Now let's see what are platelets or thrombocytes. They are the components of blood whose function is to react to bleeding from the blood vessels injury. Platelets have no nucleus and their normal range lies between 1.5 lakh to 4.5 lakh. Platelets makes up about 2% of blood. Platelets stops the blood loss from the damaged vessels. When a blood vessel tears, platelets at the side adhere to the wall of the vessel to close the tear. The shape of the platelets change as they liberate the content of their vessel. This enables them to connect to one another. Platelets also release chemical that activates the coagulation system to promote blood clotting. Millions of platelets together form a platelet plug. If the tear is small enough, the plug can stop the blood completely. So this is how the blood components are, and we have also seen their functions. Understood? So let's take a quick look at the summary. Components of blood. Blood is the body's only fluid tissue. It is composed of liquid plasma and formed elements. Now these formed elements includes erythrocytes or red blood cells, leukocytes or white blood cells, and platelets. Okay, children? The blood functions. Transportation. Blood transports oxygen and nutrients to cells, carbon dioxide and waste away from the cells, hormones to target the tissues. Regulation. Helps maintain stable body temperature, pH, water and electrolyte levels. Protection. Clotting prevents fluid loss. White blood cells protect the body against diseases. So these are the functions of blood. The next is red blood cells. Structure. Their large surface area contains hemoglobin which picks up oxygen. It has no nucleus to make room for more oxygen. So what is the function? It carries oxygen from the lungs to the body and carbon dioxide from the body back to the lungs. Got it? The main function of red blood cell is transfer of oxygen from lungs to the tissue and transfer of carbon dioxide from tissues to lungs. To accomplish this function, red blood cells has hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the major protein of red blood cells, and hemoglobin is the red pigment of RBCs. Let's see white blood cells. There are various types of white blood cells like monocytes, lymphocytes, neutrophil, basophil and eosinophil. Functions of white blood cells. Phagocytosis. The neutrophils and the monocyte engulf foreign particles and bacteria through phagocytic action, thereby destroying their action. Body defense. WBC manufactures antibodies and immune bodies to increase the power of resistance against any infection. Formation of fibroblast. Lymphocytes may be converted to fibroblast in the area of inflammation and helps the process of tissue repair and regeneration. Secretion of heparin. The basophils leukocytes are supposed to secrete heparin, a substance of liver which prevents intravascular clotting. Antihistamine functions. The eosinophils are believed to defend the body against allergic condition in which histamine-like bodies are produced in excess. Destroys cancer cells. In addition to recognizing and killing virally infected cells, lymphocytes can also target and kill tumor cells or abnormal cells that may represent the early beginning of a tumor. Functions of platelets. Hemostasis. Platelets are important for hemostasis because they aggregate to form platelet plug which stops the bleeding from small wounds. Platelets have adhesive and cohesive functions which enables them to coagulate and form a hemostatic plug. They play an important role in blood clotting. Platelets also have a secretory function. They secrete adhesive proteins and coagulation and growth factor. So they play a major role in wound healing. Children, now we have finished with this topic. Hope you have all understood today's lesson. Thank you, children. We shall see you in the next video with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you, children. Bye-bye.